Yeah, I forgot to hit auto start. So on our channel, we weren't live. So, Monica, cousin, thank you, because I had no idea. So here you go. We should be live now.
All right, there we go. Well, we'll figure that out later. So if you need to come back and watch the beginning, if you need to hear the run out and those kind
Yeah,
of
well, it'll
things,
be cut
and
up anyway. The film portion is always cut up.
we'll snatch it from Bama Standard or whatever we've been doing. Okay, so let's see if we can get to the back end because I want you guys to see the lineman move. So just remember what JT was talking about with those even fronts. JT, if you can flip to
Yep. Let me
the
fast forward here.
run it. Uh,
There
thank
we
you
go.
again. Okay, so this is how they start. What JT was talking about. Now here's the move. So this is more of what he was talking about with the 0, 2, 4 eyes. Uh, I don't know. That could be a debate, like you said. Is this a
Yeah, I mean,
um,
I would call this an odd front. I mean, this guy is just a he. I'd say this guy. This guy here is just now he's just a walk up linebacker
backer?
essentially. Because now the gap's changed. You've got this guy who's going to be responsible for both A's, and then you've got the B's closed down, and now you're expecting your linebackers to scrape outside in just a general sense. Now I'm not sure how they're teaching this guy to two gap, if he's a true two gap or if he does what I do, which is not really teach them and just lag the one side anyway. But um,
I could answer that because
sure,
especially when you push play on this, you actually see what they do. That they're not really hardly ever two gap, and I
he's
think
gonna
this
go
is
this way because you got a guy right
yep.
here, and then the backer can just fill play side A.
Yep. And so what I need to say about this when linemen are doing this, this is a harder thing because guys can move and go different directions. So as far as being disciplined with your linemen, in the way Western Kentucky uses this, they're trying to confuse and maybe create big plays by movement, slanting, or something of that nature. So a lot of times you
Well,
can be like, man, what is going on?
yeah, let's
Um,
talk about that because I like to use inside zone for this, right? So we can just pre snap, you're trying to figure out who you're gonna block, right? And you might get something. I'm not saying this is the play, but you could block it in a sense like this, right?
yes.
And have everybody taken care of, and you can sit in that right down the middle. This is kind of ISO, right? Um, and linemen are communicating this at the line. They've got all the little code words. We use A, B, C, and single, double, triple, and all that kind of stuff to get this, to know who's got who. And you do all that. They wait for you to get in the cadence, and then they do this, and all of a sudden, he can't go here anymore, right? They probably need to double this way up to this dude. He's got this by himself. Maybe he gets a little help and climb, and then you just kick out, and maybe it's not ISO anymore. I don't know, but they've got to figure that out before the ball snap. Is all I'm trying to say.
That's right. That's right. And then if you run it, you can see where they actually go because it could mess up your,
Right, and they end up
if
going
they're
basically right back to where they were post snap.
yes. So they're basically running the play that JT is actually, kind of talking about, but it just, um, they're just creating the confusion up front. So they stunt into the play actually. So uh,
Yeah, I mean,
there
and
you
this is
have it.
what you want, especially with your D line, right? We're accustomed to seeing D line making uh, tackles in the backfield and things like that. But really, all you're looking for is building a wall and just making sure there's nowhere to go, and then you can corral them from there. And the corner is actually the one that ends up making the tackle, just
Yes.
because there's nowhere for him to run. He's dancing back there, and you run him down from behind.
Yeah. So we gotta be conscious of that. Okay. Next play. Uh, This is a so I want to talk about this, and I know we're running through this stuff, but again, this is a different look, right? 3-man front almost look like a 3-3 stack to me. Yeah, just because of where the linebackers are. But what I really wanted to highlight is the secondary coverage. This is not a long yardage play, by the way, because you would think it. I mean,
Yeah,
like
this is
super
second and
short. It's
6.
second down and something, so they're kind of playing this umbrella coverage. I like to call this drop 8 double kick. Kick meaning you're putting both corners into the flat, and you got 3 deep guys uh, playing deep third, right? So the windows that you have to throw the ball into are going to be super important for what Milroe does with the ball. Does he take the check down early? Does he try to force a dig or something and seeing where that is? Because they're dropping the middle linebacker back deep too to cover the hole. So it's you got to take something underneath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And you got to
so
catch the ball.
then you got to catch the ball. So the one thing about their defense that I think we have to worry about, and their offense, is they're smaller guys, but they're scrappy. They fly around. The more you watch their film, you see they get a lot of guys to the ball, and they're trying to hit you, right? So this is the look again. The zero
Yeah, so now
before they were in the
this is a
four
Lobo
eyes.
look. This is a 505 now instead of a.
Explain the fives and the
So
O and the
yeah,
four eyes.
so 5 technique just means he's outside shade of the tackles. So we have a 5 technique here. 0 means he's head up with the center, and we got another 5 out here. So we call this Lobo. We, as in our defense at John Paul calls this Lobo because 505 and that's the area code of New Mexico. So the New Mexico Lobos. That's how we. That's what I'm gonna call it forever because it just makes sense to me. But again, this is an odd front, right? There's a nose here, and there's 3 clear down linemen, and they're gonna walk everybody else off. So did it start that way? Did they wait till the motion?
How they moved. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah. So
well, we should expect that, right? That they're going to be going. So don't mean they have to move, but I'm sure you can study percentages and say, okay, how often do they actually
yeah, and you might
finish
actually.
where they start?
I would imagine that if you're Coach DeBoer or Coach Sheridan, you're trying to see, is there something that you can do to make them move, so you can just dictate like, okay, we know we're gonna get an
Yes.
odd front here if we do this, and then we don't, that it kind of eliminates a step of thinking of like we can set this up
Yes.
just by knowing that if we put this guy,
Some kind of movement. That's right. That's right. And that's where the film study comes in. So, okay. So it was really the drop 8. And so, JT, I just think Milroe has to be, and I think we're going to show it a little bit later if we can get to it. Next play, I guess, when you got to know, this one. So now you got all these people up on the line of scrimmage. Where are they coming? Are they actually rushing, or are they going to play pass coverage? So it's not quite the same as what we did in '92, but
it
it's
looks pretty similar though, don't it? I mean, it's just
yeah,
8
it's
instead of
up there.
11.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people up there, and the quarterback and the lineman now because you're having to try to figure out which way do I turn? What do I do this? Right? So this is their mindset confusion. Are we coming or not? What do you got to do? So when you hit it in this scenario, they only rush 3. They all still run back, and we're looking at the same coverage again. So now, does he try to throw it out here in the flat? Does that corner sit and cheat and intercept it? Which I think he was too deep.
Well, I think this to me this looks kind of like cover
Quarters.
4, yeah, because
With
they
the
got
guy running down the middle, though, there's a problem.
Yeah, you got a like a Tampa 2 runner here because that's a linebacker trying to get into this deep hole.
Yeah, and I'm imagining we're going to get this because this is 11 personnel. I think 4 out as well, 4 wide receivers. Yeah, we started in trips. So, but my real point is they're going to try to give him a look to where he's going to have to decide where to get the ball and not, try to confuse you into something. Because when we get to the next play, you'll see on how it's different. But um, so wait a minute.
This is the draw.
Oh, empty. So we missed a. Did I miss a play? Somehow I missed a play. Um, so I wanted to put this in here because it's a 4-man rush, and we're talking about it, how much is Jalen
technique
really going to run? What are you talking about? The corners?
The corner up top that actually he's trying to catch, but he just gets run through instead.
Yeah. Well, the main thing is this guy takes off and goes for a 25-yard touchdown. He ain't Jalen.
No, he's not.
And so when I was on the Bama Standard last night and I said he's going to have 100 yards rushing, they were like, "Well, we don't want to see him run that much." I was like, "I don't know if he's going to have to really design a run, just because if they keep running that middle linebacker out of there deep or somewhere other than right there in the middle of the field, I can see." And this is like it's a design draw to the center.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out because I was looking at the receivers and like they actually look like they're running real routes, right? But then 53 just decides I'm leaving.
I'm a lead blocker, so he can't be down the field if it's a pass because he's all the way at the goal line at the same time the quarterback is. So it's a tendency that they saw somewhere to be like what you're saying, manipulating. But look at the linemen again; they're not going straight; they're going left again to the field.
Yeah, I don't know that I like lining up over the center and then just like not touching him.
Well, yeah. So there you go. Now he's down the field and you get your guys, and it just it could be ugly because when you stunt, you could stunt the wrong way, even if they hand the ball off, right? So anyway, all right, we got a couple more minutes on this defense before we got to get to a commercial.
Okay.
This should be the last one. The reason why I picked this is because it's another front. Really just need to go to back end. I'm not really worried about the front. Well, I don't know. You can see there's a blitzer off the edge, but in this case, you end up 2 3s. Now they go to 2 1s, and they still stunt.
Yeah, they stunt the right direction that time.
Yes.
Do you think this is actually a stunt, or do you think they're actually reading their?
I guess you could be reading, but I'm saying that because the blitzer off the edge.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Okay,
he's getting ready. He's coming from there, and they tell him, "Hey, just go left," because he's coming. And it gets there.
Yeah, we actually put this line slant in. Maybe I shouldn't say that yet. We got a game on Friday. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. I think this is a lot on the defense that, Jalen Milroe, I think this is going to be a good test for him because he's going to see a lot of different looks, got of different things. I don't know if they're going to have him checking at the line, turning protections a different way. I don't know if that's going to be on the center or someone else to say, okay, let's switch this up. But Western Kentucky's ideal is to create confusion and send people a different way. I think that's the way I see it. And
this might be their answer for read option, right? I mean, if you just send somebody at Jalen right now, he can't pull it because you got somebody come off the edge.
That's right.
You just make sure it's a give read.
Yeah, so I think it's a good test for him to be able to, Milroe, to be able to work on pre-snap reads. What does this really look like? And not get ourselves in long yardage situations because you're guessing and not actually playing what you see on film. And they're going to bring a lot. So we saw
you
0
get RPOs out of this too.
Right? Yeah,
if
that's
you're going
to
bring a guy, you pull it and you hit.
He's wide open.
Yeah.
So we do got. Maybe I should talk about that too. So there's going to be strengths here where there's going to be opportunity for big plays. You see something like this, you raise up and you throw it to him. You see some of the other stuff, you're running bubbles, which DeBoer has in his offense. A lot of RPO stuff. And if you're just going to be sending people guessing, you're going to need to get. Yeah, I know, Mike. You kind of like that right there, don't you? I appreciate it. So okay. Well, JT, we need to take a quick break because Michael Kim just reminded us we need to promote some people real
Yeah,
fast.
we
We'll
got to
take
pay
a
some bills.
minute and a half. We'll be right back. This is George Teague, and I'm launching my own text-based coffee talk newsletter. My favorite part of this is that although you get to know me some, I get to share more of myself with you through this newsletter. It's going to come straight to your phone, and I can't wait to share personal stories, the highs and lows of my football journey, my work journey, all the things I'm doing in media, the passions that I have on and off the field. So I'm about inspiring, educating, empowering others through sports and beyond. Head over to joinsubtext.com/George T or go to today's show notes to join my newsletter today. Yes, sir. And we are back. We're back. So I need to show you one more thing before we get back into the topic. JT, go to single screen so they can maybe get a better look at this deal here. So it's never too early to really think about Christmas, right? And things of this nature. So we have these for purchase. This thing is nice. It's a Cuts by Jones. These are all individual pieces. I don't know if you can tell it, but it's like a little puzzle. Maybe I need to show it a little bit closer. But sign for it. If you want one, right? $175. The link to it is right down there below. You can see it, millions.co/George-Teague-football. You can get it. I have them. There's only 5 of them. There's only 5 of them. And they're specially made and hand cut. I don't know anything about the type of saw and that type of stuff they use, but it's amazing. It's hand painted. It's about 13 inches or so. I got a different. There it is back there on the screen that I have for it. So if you want one of those, holla at me. All right. So let's
Well, hold on. Before we get back into the film, Charles Starr had a question, and I wanna go ahead and try to knock that out before we get onto the offensive side of the ball from Western Kentucky. He asked, "Can the transfer safeties meld together in such a short time and be a dominant group?"
I'm going to say yes. One of the positions that I think is easier to try to adapt to is safety position. As long as you know where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do. Look, I became a starter at the Dallas Cowboys, or I played the next day after I got there. You just got to learn terminology and know where you're supposed to be and figure out how it goes, right? So as long as you know where your run fit is and what your pass responsibilities are, I think that they can, you can create some havoc when you have new safeties come in, and it doesn't take that much time. You agree?
Yeah, I mean, even with this, I think we might have slightly, we as in Charles Starr and I might have slightly different opinions on what a short time is. I think that fall camp is an eternity in order to pick up a defense.
It is.
When you're at that level, right? If we're talking about high schoolers, maybe 2 weeks is not enough. I would say that 2 weeks is enough, even at our level, if the guy's good enough. So I think if you got a guy that's played at the Division I level and he's coming in, even if you just given him fall camp to the first game, that's plenty of time to get in, especially when I assume they still do this. I'm assuming it's legal still today, but when you get in a fall camp, you're there before everybody else on campus is. So they stick you in the dorm and you do literally everything together. And I was in a dorm room with 4 people, I think, because it was a double, right? So there's, they can put you in there with 3 other safeties and you got all these meetings and you're practicing twice a day and you're eating together. you can form those bonds pretty quickly, especially when you're going through conditioning and lifting and having to get up early and all that kind of stuff. And everybody's sore. You form that bond that way because you're going through a common trial, and then learning the playbook is just usually pretty easy. I won't say that for everybody, but usually it's not that big of a deal.
That's right. So speaking of that, I want to transition into the pursuit of the recruit, a new segment that I wanted to have in where I can ask JT a question, or he can have some stuff to you to speak about. Recruits to the JP2, or I mean JP2 at Alabama, or anything else involving with recruiting. So today I want to ask him about his recruiting process. You talked about that, going to camp and all this kind of stuff. Can you give us a little bit of insight on what you liked about it when you got recruited and you were
Oh, I thought
making
she was about to say.
trips?
I thought she was about to ask me what I liked about camp. I was like, anybody who tells you camp was great is a liar.
No, recruiting, the good and the bad, the ugly of the recruiting that you experienced when you were coming out of high school, headed to college.
Um, there's a lot of things that kind of make you feel good, and then like after a couple weeks, you realize that they mean nothing. Because it was always kind of cool being one of the kids that you walk into the locker room and then there's just like a stack of envelopes uh, in your locker from various schools. Um, and then once you get that first like handwritten one that you can tell like a coach actually wrote the letter out, then you realize like, oh, all these other ones are just like mass emails.
The generic one, yeah,
Yeah,
that people get
invite you to
confused by.
camp or whatever it says in there. But that's always fun just to see like what letterhead did you get today. So that was fun. And then also having those phone calls at random times. I remember standing in the parking lot after practice, hanging with some other teammates and taking a phone call, and it was one time it was from coach from the University of Albany or um, Long Island State. Wagner. I'm sorry. They're on Long Island, but it was Wagner. And those kind of things are like, oh, well, because everybody's always like, well, who was that? Who called you this time? And being able to travel to camps, like where did we go? We went to Cal.
Yep,
I don't think we went down to Stanford, but we went to Harvard, which the campus was nice, but I still don't like Boston, so that was really never a place I wanted to go. So those are all the cool things, but then you have other things where you're being told things and you're kind of skeptical the whole time of whether or not that's the case. And we had one. I won't say who the school was, but they were supposed to be an in-home visit, and some stuff was going on, and then they canceled the in-home visit. But they didn't tell us they were canceling the in-home visit. One of the assistant coaches had called and was like, "Hey," and I actually emailed him a couple years ago just to tell him thanks because he had called and he was like, "Hey, if you have any other option, I say we'll honor the scholarship, but if you have any other option to go somewhere else, you probably should go somewhere else." Which is kind of unprecedented when you're still on that staff. But he was very honest. So it's good to find good coaches like that actually have your best interest at heart. But sometimes those are hard to find, and it's hard to sift between who's actually telling you the truth and who's not.
that's right. All that guy is a transformational coach, and I love those, and that's what I talk about. Our staff at JP2, the difference between transactions, just going through the motions, not caring about how people feel, and then transactional. And I've had those in the pros too, and you kind of rarely hear that, but I had a similar situation when I was with the Falcons when the guy told me, "Don't even come to practice today. They're gonna cut you at 3 o'clock." It was 7 a.m. It's like I wouldn't. I just gonna go home. But anyway, another story. Okay, well, again, we want to thank Blackfire again for being the Bama home in Dallas here, presenting this film for you. We want to get to the WKU offense now, so JT's going to have to get to their offensive side of the ball, and let's see what we got. So my strengths, JT, I think are going to be their uh, left side of their line. Honestly, we can go through that. But this first clip up in here, I don't know if we're going to see it or not. But you know what? Sometimes when you're overmatched, you do unorthodox things, and I think this is kind of unorthodox. Just everybody just kind of dive on the ground, try to get the guys' hands down, and you feel like you can't overpower them or shove them back. So everybody cut.
Yeah, this is
You
what was
know,
wild was I think this was the first play of the game.
it is the very first play of the game, so you're already kind of saying, I don't know what you're saying. It just seems like it sends a message of. And I know I've done this before. I've done this when I was at Shelton. I couldn't block the Parrish guys, and we were just getting trucked, pushed all the way back, and we need to throw the ball. And I was like, hey, everybody cut. I get it. So I know exactly what's going on. It just seemed like it was kind of weird right out of the chute, considering he threw outside
Yeah, like you didn't even have to get
quickly.
nobody's hands down for this, right? You
No,
could have just
well, look at the left guard. Did you just wait? I mean, he's doing an up down. He just totally waste him.
yeah,
Just
he didn't even
and
yeah.
and I'm sure they told him, you got to get your butt on the ground too. We got to see you cutting. He can't get into him because he get a chop block. If you
Mhm.
get two guys, kind of like, well, I guess you'd have to have one high and one low because they kind of do it on the right where they got both guys on this guy's legs. Um,
I don't know. I think I would have threw the flag here on this one.
yeah, coming at both. So, but my whole point on that we got to be careful. You got to know how to handle cut blocks. So they're probably working on that and saying, you got to use your hands because that center he gets or the nose tackle he gets jacked up. You could cause some injuries. You're right on that left knee and it's stuck in the ground.
Mhm.
Who knows? What happens. So we got to be alert for that piece. All right, that's all I really had to say on that. Just next one. All right, so this is kind of interesting to me, JT. I don't know. I'm calling it a QB counter pass just
Oh,
because if
right,
you
cuz
look
you've
at
got the
the
two pullers.
yes, where so you may want to draw on that so they can see because it's really designed where the quarterback can keep the ball and run it. This is kind of what we want Jalen Milroe to do last year.
Mhm.
um, running back going one direction and then the quarterback following the
Yeah, talk
pullers.
about false reads.
Yes. So when we're talking about our defense and what we want our linebackers to do, they're seeing pullers, so they potentially. I mean, it looks like they had the right coverage. I don't know what they saw because that linebacker didn't even go with the puller. He
Yeah,
went
he
out
just
with
went straight with the back.
because they really got too many blockers. I mean, if the quarterback would have kept the ball,
Yeah, maybe
that's
maybe they just knew that this quarterback's not a runner. And which this is obviously not the quarterback we're going to see. We're going to see TJ Finley, which some of our viewers may remember. He was I think he was at Mississippi State for a minute. He was at Texas State last year, but he was he also at LSU? I know he was at Auburn.
yeah.
He
Auburn.
he's played
What
Alabama
did you?
three
What teams
times.
did you say? He was at Texas State for a
He was at
short time.
Texas
Up
State, maybe
there.
not Mississippi State. Maybe it was Texas State, LSU, Auburn. But I
Yes.
thought I saw him in a Mississippi State jersey. But he's
Uh,
played an Alabama defense three times.
I could look real fast.
The Bama Standard, Justin says he was at LSU, Auburn, and Texas State.
Yeah, LSU, Auburn, Texas State. Okay. So anyway, so you got this here. It's covered up. They do a good job. But one thing that I noticed on this film, JT. So if you watch all 30 minutes of the actual cut up, what I don't show on here is that Liberty. So there was some. Hopefully, well, maybe not. WKU had some serious tendencies because whenever they lined up, those guys were pointing, ball's going over there, something, and they would shift. And I was like, man, they must have some serious tendencies. And it makes me think about this, like where you say this linebacker didn't even go over there. So I think they had some things that they saw, or I know that they saw because they were screaming the play beforehand. And that's frustrating as a player when they know you play before you even get going. I can't imagine being a running back and they're like, oh, he's going over there. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting play that some trickery. So we always talk about people out of the backfield and what you got to do with your linebackers. We got to be smart with that. Okay, so there's another play. It's actually my best, the play that I like the most. I'm calling this a power +1 because you got the
No,
motion guy
+2
coming down. Well, you got the
because you got
backside
the
puller.
back. You got the kick out from the back. All right, so let me draw it. You got the kick out from the back. You got the pull that's leading, and then you got this guy.
Yes. Yes. So they actually had a good play here, and that's why I think we're our strength and what this guy, if you'll see what they do, what Liberty does to them to defeat this, but they actually had enough guys. I don't know if you can find if the tail ends on here or not. Yeah, so when he pulls around, there's actually one more blocker, but the defensive
because he
end,
switched. Yeah,
he puts his head back on the other side and pushes that. He whoops 73's butt.
yeah. He closes the gap by just putting the tackle in the gap.
Yes. So if you don't, and that's where we're saying our strength and our size could be a problem for that, because that was a pretty good job by 73 at first. He had leverage, and then he just got kind of hip tossed. So I don't. I mean, the running back's a little bit smaller, but they really did have a play if they would have kept if the power, the down block stayed down.
Just a question. This has nothing to do with WKU, really, but I want to know because this might help us out. What 25 does here? This dude, how he takes on the puller. Is this still legal? Can you?
He's
do
in
this?
the box, in the box, in the box. As long as you're in the.
So it doesn't have to be a point of attack. He can just the defense even.
If you're in the box and he's in the box, you can cut. Now you got to make sure that the ref is seeing what you're seeing. But yes, that is legal by rule. Because think of it like if 87, he originally was out of the box, so he couldn't go cut that other defensive end over here. But if he was on the line of scrimmage, lined up there, and he went across, he'd be able to cut 16.
Can 25 cut 87?
No.
Yeah. See, so how are you supposed to know this? Like, it's just in the middle of the game, you're like, yeah, I got a puller. Here he is. I'm cutting him, and then all of a sudden, it's this tight end that was God knows where.
Yeah. Well, I'm hearing what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they'd ever call it right and what they do, and we'd probably be mad at throwing flags at coaches, but
yeah,
kind of is what it is. So we got to worry about this run. So a lot of two backs. I don't know, JT, if they're going to be trying to do two backs with us. I'm thinking that they're not going to want to do a lot of two backs because we're going to have more.
You're probably
going to
bring a safety in the box.
Yeah,
you're just asking to bring an extra guy in here.
Yeah, so I don't know that that's what they're actually going to do. All right. So, this next play is
a QB shift to Wildcat.
Yes. I don't know if they'll do that or not, but again, it's just we got to be ready for all trick plays. When you're outmatched, a lot of times you start doing things just to try to make something happen. So we're already seeing cut plays, and then you see some Wildcats.
Yeah, that's subtle right here. Just a whoop.
Yes.
Oh, and there's number 2 pointing.
Yeah, there it is. Hey, move over. Well, we got this. But again, I think let's see if I can look at the linemen. I think they did a good job up front.
Is this trap?
Yes. So the skip pull, that's what I had on my notes here. He went too far. 78.
Yeah, he's going. I guess he's supposed to be going to kick out this 3.
I think
he's a 4-eye.
He's wrapping around for 35.
How do you block trap when you?
He's rocking.
It's hard to trap a one technique, right?
Now look at the. So what does the right guard do?
The right guard blocks down.
See, they're going back. 0. So he's taking a 0. 78 is responsible for 35. The linebacker standing
Yeah, and he
over
goes
him.
out to
No,
the
he
end.
just
Like I don't
missed
know
him.
why he went that far. I thought
Yeah, 'cause
you pull close, right? You're supposed to just
well, and that's where we talk about this. How do you actually teach the jump pull? So, skip pull, I don't know what people call it. So sometimes you shuffle when you pull, and some you actually turn and run.
Mhm.
So he skips and gets off balance
and
because you
touches
really,
nobody.
yeah, because you probably got to play if he blocks him,
Mm-hmm.
he probably walks right into the end zone because
Yeah, then it's
that
3 versus
DB is
6, and you can just fall forward, and that's a touchdown.
yeah, and 6 is going to overrun him anyway because he's chasing the wideout.
Mm-hmm.
Just happens to stop because he sees it. So um, again, trickery, but a little back, um, this kind of thing. So all right, so there's that one. Uh,
This is 4 strong. Ooh, is this a Steeler screen?
this is the
Yes.
Steelers screen. That's what I say. I think this is the
This is
easiest
so
cakewalk.
hard to defend, though.
Yeah, so maybe you want to talk about this from because you're man to man down here on goal line. The outside guy's moving. You can't really bump because you guy can still come back and run it out
Mm-hmm.
or a bubble or something. So you really just kind of, I don't, we ran it at JP2. This offensive play, we ran it at JP2.
Mm-hmm.
We had JB and those guys. I mean, everybody runs it in the pros. It's just too hard to defend. But you got to be close to the line of scrimmage, or you could be trying to do this just to get a first down. So, um, I don't know what you really do, brother. That's not good for coaches to be able to say you got to try to react.
Yeah, you gotta. I guess you gotta drop this guy out in the passing lane and take your chances with something in here, which is probably what I would do first. It's like, look, I dare you to take these guys and run the ball because I don't think you're good at it, but you're not going to do this. Or
Because
you got to get in zone, or like somehow you got to get these guys to recognize that, like, hey, this is a screen. They're not running a route. I know they're trying to figure out. That's why they're flat footed. They're doing all the things that you tell them to do, and that's just like taking candy from a baby.
it's a heck of a play, and that's why I think I am going on the limb and saying we're going to see this play somewhere, some point in time.
Yeah.
Might not be on the goal line, but I'm going to say this play is going to happen.
Yeah, my thought though is
Um,
like
unless we're just playing zone.
yeah, but I like this idea because the back is over here. Like, so if they're gonna run zone, inside zone, or something, like most likely the ball's gonna go that way anyway.
I think it depends, JT, on how far that bunch is outside or how far that receiver's out there. That's still a long way.
Yeah,
I
I
hear
mean,
it.
I guess let's see. I just 3 over 3 it just doesn't like. I know you get in these situations where it's gonna be like that, but I just don't like having the 3-on-3. I like to have +1.
Yeah. Well, my only other piece that I would say to this, and I know they do it in the league when this kind of happens, is that you lock up one and you banjo the other two. So you lock up the center guy because he's on the ball, and then you kind of in and out these guys.
Huh. Okay.
Now you still could get a dig by the number 3 or something of that nature, but if you're playing tendencies, kind of. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said no.
Oh, you said number 3,
3.
and I drew number 1. You
Yeah,
talking about this?
yeah. Once he comes inside, and if your corner is trying to get to the number 3, he's going to be outside of him, and he's
So
going
you're
to
saying
run away from
basically
him.
this guy going like this
No,
instead?
the other guy.
Who? This one?
No, the one on the hash.
Okay.
Yes, him running away from the corner,
Gotcha.
the outside corner, and because you'd want I don't know what you want to call him, the defensive guy sitting on the hash mark to cover the guy that's coming in motion, so they just can't.
Oh yeah, so then you get this, and then now you just got this guy wide open. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
problem. It's a problem.
yes. So, but I would say I don't know if I would rather have that than what you were saying, having a defensive lineman out because maybe the linebacker can get his hand up or something to try to knock down his dig route, but it's chess, right? Or
Yes.
checkers.
No, it's not checkers.
So
That's for sure.
yes. Okay. So there we go. I think we're gonna
We got one more. We got 2 minutes.
we do. I know. And this one I didn't really it's nothing fancy about this play. I just really wanted you to see the pullers again. Which they didn't do a very good job of
No, they did not.
um,
Let's get to the end zone view.
kicking out the backers. So I think the left side is better than the right side on the lineman because 58 just or
Yep,
50.
we got a good spill. Oh, I love me a good spill on the puller. This is
Yeah, he just well that was not very good by number 50. I don't think he's going with the wrong shoulder,
yeah,
right?
and they hold an 11.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
just
hold if I've ever seen one.
yes. You're talking about and that's the one. The left tackle is the one that I'm giving. He's holding, but I think he's quick. He has really good feet. He's someone that's going to be trying to cut off our guys. He gets in good body position, but he can't use his hands like that. But that left side of the line, I think, is pretty decent. In my opinion. So as long as we rally to the ball like this, I think good things will happen. I think we're just gonna be too strong for him up front, or I hope. Because 78, he gets on this guy, climbs up. It's not powerful, but you know. Yes, sir, Keith. We appreciate you, man. This we're gonna be doing every single week. You know. Okay, so my takeaway is JT on all of this stuff. WKU, they're scrappy guys. They're gonna fight. They're gonna go. They're gonna try to cut you as in little small nicks to try to make you bleed, where they can have some kind of plays just enough to kind of disrupt you and hope for some kind of turnover or something disrupt you in the backfield. And hope for something big there. But they're going to be vulnerable for big plays on both sides of the ball. I think. Right? I think you're on from their defense. You're going to see a lot of line movement, people going different directions, just trying to create that havoc.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they're going to be vulnerable because if we get it right and you get one cutback, it's going to be 60 yards. Yes, Neil, I think you're going to get some opportunities where it's just going to be big play. It's just going to happen because they're going to be out of whack. They short zone people. You watch enough film. They JT, your defensive coordinator. They blitz 6, and then they play 3 behind it.
Yeah, if you're gonna blitz 6 and then you're gonna drop 3 as deep as they are, those to me those reads are easy. Like I'd rather play 2 deep, 3 under, and like make you try to throw a bad ball deep, or because they're taught to like, hey, throw into the blitz. It's short, find your hot route, throw into the blitz, and if there's nobody underneath,
yeah. So it's gonna be I don't know. I think they're just prone for the big plays, right? If they have tendencies like that I was saying, where they're just kind of saying, all right, what you got?
Do you guys think they will spy Milroe? I'm gonna say no.
I'll let you answer.
Because I don't believe that they have somebody good enough to do that.
I thought you were gonna say because you're gonna waste the guy if you spy him.
Yeah, they don't have they don't have Georgia linebackers or Michigan, like they just don't have somebody. At least from, maybe I'm wrong. I don't. This is a game from last year. We haven't seen what they look like this year. But if that's what they have right now, like I'm gonna go back to where's the draw? This play right here. Like I'm looking, I don't know who this Liberty quarterback is, but he ain't as fast as Jalen Milroe. Oh, right. I'm looking at it on my screen. Hold on, let me bring it back. I don't know who this quarterback is, but he ain't Jalen Milroe. And like this pursuit, this dude is on the 15-yard line, and he makes it to the end zone untouched. And Milroe is faster than that guy.
And stronger. and everything else. So I don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to do this, but it's just on the Bama Standard last night. I said that we'd score 49 points. Some people had 52. I think the offense is he's going to shift them to death and find some matchups, and it's just going to be
Yeah,
what it
I
is.
saw some comments in here. Um, Something about creativity. Yes, Justin, this offense is going to be creative, a term we never used under O'Brien or Reese. And there was something else. Uh, well, I missed it, but there were more comments like that. Um, Keith, love it when YouTube plays an ad right in the middle of what I'm watching. Hey, look, I feel your pain.
How much it costs? How much it costs to get
YouTube
rid of
Premium.
that?
No, YouTube Premium is
Yeah.
more expensive than I think it needs to be. But I haven't watched an ad in like 3 years, and it's great.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know. Wow. But I don't know. Do we get some money off that ad? Shit.
Yes,
Oh, I don't know.
yes, we did. So thank you for your contribution to the show, Keith. You did do a service by watching that ad. Uh,
Oh gosh, that's funny. Wow.
but
Anyway, you got another question?
yeah, in what ways do you
Uh,
think Kendrick Law will be used?
Bubbles Jets.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean those RPOs, the
uh,
bubbles, jets. I think that stuff's. Freedom Fitter says YouTube has maybe watched 5 ads in like 20 minutes. Yeah, yeah, no, it'd be like that. Sometimes. I feel your pain.
does that mean our show's pretty good, man? If they run ads during our show, they're giving us a little love. I don't know if they run ads on everybody's show. Anyway, that's just what I'm making myself feel good about it. Okay, but yeah, I think Kendrick Law, he's gonna get his. I still think I think Ryan Williams shows up in some capacity as a freshman. You know, I don't know if he's gonna get a deep shot or if it's gonna be quicker throws, slants, and all that, and let him catch it and run it. But either way, I think he ends
I
up
don't even
having
know if
some
you
kind
need
of
the
big
deep shot.
play.
Like if they're going to drop 3 safeties and then drop 8 and try to blitz somebody weird.
Okay, here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think the board, based upon what we saw in spring football, I think the board is going to show so much stuff to
Oh,
make
you
people
think he's just going to
prepare.
try to overwhelm,
Let's
just
just
overwhelm
go
you with the.
make Wisconsin and Georgia and all them go, man. Because you can go the other way and be like, I don't want to show them anything, even though and try to trick them. But because he went quads in spring,
Oh yeah, that was wild. And I hate it. I
uh,
hate it. Not like I hate that DeBoer does that. I just hate being the defense coordinator in spring, and then the offense is doing like all these exotic things. You're like, bro, I haven't even got to install the base stuff yet.
that's right. And so I'm feeling like he's gonna give you some two back, some tight end shifts, some quads, some deep routes, the corner routes, all those things that I think you get something like that. So coach has to go, well, first of all, as fans, we're gonna be like, man, that's creative, that's fun, and we get to show some stuff and we're not gonna have enough time, to show it all next week. But from the coordinator standpoint, he's going to be like, man, we got a lot of stuff to work on. I mean, we saw A11 last year from him, from the other stuff. You just don't know what he's going to pull out, and you only have so much time to practice, right? So if you got to then you got to figure out, okay, what is he really trying to do and how often he's going to do it. Which I'm going to give one more shout out to this, JT, for our new sponsor, Titan Texas. Because next week we should be able to have some more analytics and some data.
Well, hold on. Since we're here and we're at the end of the show, thank you everybody for watching. Titan Texas is the North Texas chapter of the University of Alabama National Alumni Association. Our mission is to promote the university in North Texas and raise money for our 10 endowed scholarships. Titan Texas looks forward to the opportunity to promote our chapter's mission and to work with the Teague's Take to help promote the Teague Family Scholarship as well. Thank you, John O, for sending that to our phone so that we could make that read for you.
Yes, appreciate it. Thank you. And I don't know if he sent that to me or not. I wasn't ignoring you, but
Yes, he was.
I never ignore John. But Yeah, so we're glad to have them on board too, and we'll do more with them going forward. And thank you guys for that because it's going to make our show even better. So I need to be able to talk about that. So JT, as we get ready to close this out, thank you Blackfriar, right? Thank you On Three. Thank you Titan Texas, right? Make sure you check out our Teague's Take website, teaguestake.com. A lot of stuff on there. Go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter too. I drop new things out every Tuesday morning. It's gonna be it'll be fun because you get to hear other side of me that you never really hear me talk about. Personally, about coaching, about media, about all those kind of things. So very special messages for those who actually subscribe to those newsletters. And then next week we'll be back on 8:15 p.m. Central Time, except there'll be 2 segments with 2 different film sessions. So we'll have the recap of this WKU game, and then we will look forward to South Florida as well. So we'll have two different film sessions, and we should have some other kind of data for you guys. Hopefully, now that Titan Texas has jumped on board with us as well. All right. So JT, I don't know if you played my theme music or not, but that's really about
you
it.
should be able to hear it this week.
Yeah, I can. So that's all. Hit that subscribe button. Tell everybody about Teague's Take. And we will see you guys in a week. This has been a Teague's Take. See y'all later.